Hey, what's happening? It's Bill Smith. I want to tell you about this New York Times writer named Sarah Jeong. I think that's her name. Jeong. Now, the New York Times just hired Sarah Jeong to lead up. I think she's the lead editor now in their tech section. And the problem is that right after they hired her, a bunch of racist tweets were dug up. And the racism is really just directed at one group of people. Racially, she targeted one group of people to be an open racist against. Now, black people are furious. Black people are up in arms that, what is her name again? Sarah Jeong. Black people are up in arms, man. We are ready to hit the streets. They got the pitchforks out because Sarah Jeong has been talking bad about white people. So social media reactions flooded on Wednesday when images of racist tweets sent from a Twitter account that looked like belonged to Sarah Jeong. Tweets surfaced shortly after the Times announced she was joining the paper. And it wasn't just one or two. Things like, oh man, it's kind of sick how much joy I get out of being cruel to old white men. 21 likes, 8 retweets. This is back in 2014, so this is fairly recent. I was equating Trump to Hitler before it was cool. It's in 2015. This is my favorite. Hashtag cancel white people. That's the best one, and that just summarizes the whole thing. There's hundreds of them. And I thought, whatever, I don't care. It's Twitter. I'm getting tired of talking about Twitter, man. But the problem with saying that, and the reason why you have to continue to cover it, the reason why it's relevant, is because these people end up getting blue check boxes, right? And it's like, this is who they are in the world, and they're talking to the planet. Like, they're out in the public domain, talking to the general public, not just people on Facebook and their groups, not to like some lockdown Instagram account. They're speaking publicly. Okay, that's why it's important. And when they air their personal opinions about life and groups of people, and they're racist, they're openly racist, this stuff surfaces later, and it's important because it shows that this is what they think about. This is what they're involved in. This highlights their opinion on people. Now, just to get to the heart of the matter, just cut right on in. Okay, I don't think Sarah Jeong is actually a racist. I don't think that she thinks white people are bad in any way. I don't think that she thinks that she's better than white people. I think that she is jealous that she's not white. I think that's the reason why Sarah Jeong makes such a big deal about white people. It also helps her group. When she attacks white people, she sees white people. Her and all other racial minorities in the United States see white people as their enemy because white people built the country. They created the legal system. They created the system of government that we still have now that guarantees individual rights. Okay, so they're jealous. That's where this comes from. I want to make that really, really, really clear. Here you go. This is to a representative. I don't know if that's Rep Dan Mode. I don't know if that's a real rep, but it says, white people have stopped breeding. You'll all go extinct soon. This was my plan all along. Devil horns. Devious. Are white people genetically predisposed to being sunburned? I don't know. There's a lot here, man. There's a lot here. New York Times hired this chick, okay, this racist, to run their newspaper. Failing newspaper. So I figured, what the heck, let me go over here and look up Sarah Jeong racist, and it's like, it's pages, man. People are on this. She ain't getting away. She'll be around forever. This will be out there. As your whiteness goes up, your awfulness goes up. She drew that. So, where did this come from? I don't understand where this came from. This stuff gets way better, man. Okay, this in her apology, she blames it on being harassed. She says that she was being harassed. Someone was talking to her on Twitter, so she decided to be racist. And it's like, well, you didn't understand them. You didn't understand all those racist tweets because I sent because they're out of context. So essentially, I mean, the New York Times is backing her, and New York Times is saying, look, two wrongs equal a right. That's the message here. So you can be mean to people, and you can be a terrible human being, terrible racist, if somebody on Twitter sent you a racist tweet. That's the message. Look, this chick's going to be a problem. Okay, you understand that? Working at the New York Times, she was an editor of the Harvard Journal of Law and Gender. Law and gender. And this is the best part. Okay, she's not even American. She is a South Korean-born, quote, American journalist. Now see, here's the weird part. People always say, oh, wherever your citizenship is, that's what you are. And then people are like, oh, well, if you're a dual citizen, you're an Israeli and you're also an American, So it doesn't make any sense. You have to be something, right? You have to be something. So she's South Korean. She's not even American. And that's where this all comes from. The anti-white hate, okay, coming from the Asian background where they're like the hive mind insect group. They don't, they stifle dissent really fast, and they, you're not supposed to say anything. And you can say that's like a racist kind of thing, but I think it's a good strategy. White people enabled democracy. They support democracy. That's where it came from. Democracy came from white people. Nowhere else. It didn't come from Jews. Okay? It came from white people. I'm sorry. That's where it came from. When you say democracy, you mean white people. So, but it's a different system. White people, we have the freedom thing set up so that like the best can rise to the top. The Chinese have the heavy-handed communism system, so they can just, run a governmental planned system with no backlash from the public. Nobody changing the plan, like Trump. So the Chinese got it on lockdown, and I think they got a better system as far as like race goes. They're going to protect. I think the Chinese are way more insulated, because of that. Jews do the same thing. Jews always group up in their own little area, wherever they're at. They inhabit their own little area, and they start their little Jew area. You can go look up what happens on YouTube when Jews move into an area in like New Jersey. Just go check it out, take a look. That's all I'm saying. Now, since we're talking about race, I couldn't help but find a way to get this in there. Okay, I couldn't find a better way to link it over here. So the same New York stuff, this food writer wrote in defense of her, and she's all about this super hard left hate white people stuff, right? That's what all the Democrat points now mean. They mean hate white people. So this is in the New Yorker, and I thought, okay, well, I've noticed that dogs. Okay, I don't know if you've noticed this, but dogs are a white people thing. Black people have a lot of pit bulls, and I have my roommate in college was black, and he had a cool dog. It's like a mixed breed dog. It wasn't really a pit. But my neighbor, he's had like 3 pits since I've known him, and it's like a pit thing, like black people like pits. Some black people like fluffy dogs. Some black people like dogs. Okay? But Chinese people generally don't like, dogs are not a big thing over in the Asian community. Right? And I was wondering, well, what happens if you're looking for dog food over in Asia? And I realized, like, that's probably not the right thing to go look for. Right? So she's Korean. So if you go look up Korean dog food, this is what you find. So what I'm trying to make out to you is just that these people come from areas of the world, and everybody's like, oh, let's diversify. Let's get better ideas. But this is the ideas that you get. That's what, when you get these dogs from Korea, look, that's where they're at. This is what's happening. They don't have the same value system as white culture, Western society, whatever you want to call it. She does not come from a world that has the same values as Western society. And I figured, well, she's Korean born, but they call her American. So what is that like, how does that work out? I mean, even if on Google you look up Korean dog food, you get dog meat consumption in South Korea, where she comes from. She didn't come from North Korea. So, like, I started asking these questions, and it turns out she just became a citizen. Like, right now. Like, in the last year or two. A legal journalist on the, quote, surreal experience of becoming a U.S. citizen under Trump from a place that eats dogs. You get it? You get what this person, do you understand what we're dealing with? So she comes from a place that eats dogs openly. They openly eat dogs. It's terrible. It's disgusting. It's so bad. I mean, look, she's just doing it like it's nothing. Treating a dog like it's a chicken or something. Even though that's kind of also mean. But dogs are different. She comes from a place in the world that eats dogs. She worked for the Harvard Law and Gender magazine or publication, and now she's got a problem with our country. Okay, she wants to tell us how to live and that we need to change our base level foundational values, right? To be more like the dog eaters, the people that eat dog. Right? She wants us to be more like them. That's what this person wants. That's what she wants. Sarah Jeong at the New York Times. Now, I caught this on Twitchy. Okay, it was kind of related. It was a related story, and it was talking about dear white people. And I saw it because it said, she had a hashtag that said cancel white people. And I was like, that's weird, right? And it pops up, this guy works for Bloomberg. His name's David S. Joachim. And this is him. I couldn't believe it. It's an internet meme. Dear white people. Okay? I mean, that's what he replied to all this and got some more play by, telling people how they're bad. How we have to change the power structure and white people have to hand their country over to the dog eaters, the people that eat dogs. White people need to hand over America to the people that slaughter dogs and barbecue them. Okay? And it didn't get very far. This guy caught it. Salim Bradley, that's at Selim Sees You. What's up, bro? Good for you. This guy starts off, dear white people. And then ends up, here's an older tweet. Says, and blacks are only 12% of the population, and Jews like me are only 2%. And we all have rights too. He's a Jew. On Twitter, stirring the pot, telling white people about how they need to give up their power structure and hand it over to people like him, who make up 2% of the population, and people like the New York Times tech editor, Sarah Jeong, who just got her citizenship and is complaining about Trump when she came from a country that eats dogs. Look, I'm telling you, we're not going to let this stuff slide anymore. Okay, there ain't no getting around the internet. There's enough of us looking. Everyone's got a phone in their pocket. So you're going to hear more from us mainstream media. QAnon's not going away. Okay, we're rolling straight into this, and all roads lead somewhere. And I told you in the last video what they're starting to drop in these articles. They're already talking about like blood ritual and matzo balls and Catholic child martyrs that got removed under Vatican II, who had all been like blood sacrificed. I mean, there's a whole documented history of the world that they don't want you to see. Okay? And more people just join the conversation. So, yeah, it's not going away. These people aren't going to get away with it. They can't go masquerading, trying to blend in. This guy caught it. Avian Soul won every single time, bro. I know, man. I know. It's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing that more people don't catch this sooner. I think that this might be something I need to talk about a couple more times, because my fellow white people is a huge meme. Here it is if you want to read about it. It's knowyourmeme.com over here. Fellow white people, aren't you Jewish? The internet knows about this stuff. You know? They know about it. Till next time, this is Bill Smith. Thanks for watching.